Hello, y'all. It's now 10:46 p.m. Still Sunday night. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know why they do that to me. Instantly after I start the video, they make me yawn. So, thankfully, somebody helped me out with enough for 3 more nights in the hotel. So this is what happened. Um, they had a deal for me to get $39 a night. This might be part of the gang stock, and that the moment I clicked on it, then it said 49, and then I think it said 50 something dollars, 50 something, I don't remember, per night. And then so you know, so it's like, so I don't know, it's like they manipulated the price soon as I tried to get the room. I could have had enough for 4 or probably 5 nights if I could have got the $39 price. Maybe not 5, but maybe 4 nights if I could have got the $39 price. But I got a 10% discount. So thank you for helping me out. Excuse me. So I hope I sleep better tonight. Ugh. I'm starting to get sleepy. Because last night my sleep wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't that great, was what I was trying to say. So I didn't leave. I don't think I left out of this room. See, this is how I try to say that I don't be trying to be any trouble, you know. I stayed in this hotel room all day long today. And I also didn't spend not one penny until I got help with the hotel room. Like 3 more nights. And so now I got, I paid for the hotel room help. So there were a few things that I kept forgetting to say that um, oh. So Friday, I was so mad about what the online perps did to me and the threats that they were making and the stuff they were saying about me. I was so mad that I was trying to walk to leave out to go eat dinner. And I walked down, and by the time I got all the way down at the bottom of the first floor, I realized that uh, I realized that I had I realized that I had accidentally forgot. I was so mad at their harassment and abuse. I was so mad that I accidentally forgot my money and had to come take the elevator back up here and go get it, and then went out to go and eat, and then somebody paid for my meal. So God must have really been looking out for me, especially what I've been going through. Because if something happened yesterday, I forgot what else I needed to say. But I was trying to say earlier that last night I took a shower and brushed my teeth, and I was so depressed that I haven't brushed my teeth since approximately maybe a day or two before or after or on Christmas Day, December 25th, somewhere around there, Christmas Day. But last night was the first time I brushed my teeth since then. I put a lot of bentonite clay in my mouth, and I held it there for nearly 20 minutes, and I put the timer on. And I was trying to not swallow all that stuff, you know. But then I brushed my teeth with it and spit it out, and the inflammation went away. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, like half the infection and inflammation went away. But I didn't floss my teeth, but I should have. But I don't even remember when the last time I flossed my teeth. But so dealing with the depression and what I'm going through and everything like that. So thankfully, I have help with another hotel room. 3 nights. You know, 3 more nights in this hotel room. Uh, so I have 3 more nights, and see, it's like I worked at Seville Quarter and was mainly on the streets in 2021. And a couple of times I was working, so when bad weather happened, I had my own hotel room. But also on some nights, I slept by 532 West Garden Street, and they wrongfully kicked me away from there. And so a lot of nights I didn't have to have I didn't have to have a hotel room because I had shelter overhead and it was warm, it was summer. So then, their workplace mobbed me, and then I had some other stuff go on. So then a fake TI perp lied on me and turned away all my support when I outed her as a perp. And she was a narcissistic fake Christian TI perp who laughed at my suffering and always defended and agreeing with the regular perps. So, laughing at my suffering with being homeless on the streets. And she never had to suffer being homeless on the streets a day in her life. And plus, she got to have over $50,000 a year job position. Plus, she claimed she had 2 master's degrees or something like that, but she can't spell worth of shit. Like, I never heard of somebody who claimed to have 2 master's degrees and can't even. I think she's fucking lying, But she's a homeowner, in which I will die never getting to own a house or a car. Living all my life on extremely low income with the Social Security and SSI, and the gang stalking network won't allow me to keep a job for long. So I had to deal with that. Then I got the temp service job, and I was asking for no money and independently working and getting paid daily with the temp service and just barely making it. I worked tirelessly and worked my ass off like the first week or week and a half. The moment I started to my money started to get comfortable and I started to think of goals and plans to get off the streets and get permanent housing, and almost enough money to get permanent housing and enough to start asking about trying to get a car too. They lowered my hours to the point where I was struggling and barely making it. Then they started raising prices on the motel. And so then, and I was only paying $300 a week. Then after that, I ended up having to pay $365 a week and move to a different motel. And so, well, actually, yeah, they started making me pay more at the first motel, and dog, I was starting to struggling and barely making it. But working at the schools, I didn't have to worry about struggling with money for food because they fed us just about every day. And then when they would feed the kids, like the boys playing football, they would have some kind of meeting or something every Tuesday night. And so the co-workers didn't want their food, so that would leave me enough for I put the rest of the food in the freezer, and I was able to eat that. And I had free lunch every time on the days that I work, free lunch, and so I was able to they put me with a different school. They switched me from the high school. See, at the high school, I started to borderline making good money and working overtime. The perps weren't having that. So they lied to me and said, "You're such a great asset." Well, if I was such a great asset, why would you put me in an environment to where you reduce my hours and I'm making like $72 a day net pay? But at first, I was making close to $100 or a little bit over $100 a day. And so I was getting paid close to $100 a day and even more, and got a few little overtime hours. Even though I bust my ass and I was tired, working 6 days a week for the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then afterwards, I was working 6 days a week and working 40 something, like at least about 45 hours a week. So I needed nothing, and my money started to get good. And I started to be able to get to save. But soon as my money started to get good and I started to try to inquire about permanent housing and a car, they reduced my hours to 32 hours a week, yet lying to me. And I think that they moved me from the high school to the middle school as the setup for the workplace mobbing, even though they had some perks at the high school too. And the online perps were making threats to report me for saying that the high school children were perping me. And some of the teachers did weird stuff and witchcraft and perping me too. So, and some of the parents picking up the kids were perps. Perping their asses up. Like, you coming to swoop in and get some perp activity in while you're picking up your kid from school. Or they would have perps monitoring me like a babysitter, wait for me to walk into the school building, and then pull off. And I'm the criminal and the bad guy for putting their asses on film. And so, I mean, everybody thought that I was such a great asset and a good worker at both the middle school and the high school. So, excuse me. So, I mean, I was able to, hold on. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Excuse me. So then, the workplace mobbed me, and a couple of days before the temp job assignment was up, a couple of days before, like I was forced, they pushed me over the edge to where I was cornered and was forced and had no choice but to quit. And everybody was pissing me off, perping me, and making me really upset and stuff. So so then it was a struggle, and I was still at that first motel, and it was a struggle to get it. But I had financial. But while I was working, though, the online perps were harassing me and bullying and threatening me really bad, to the point where I was forced to shut down. They bullied me so bad I was forced to shut down my buy me a coffee and my the GoFundMe. And I'm like, this is crazy, you know. And I wasn't even asking for money because I was working, but I still got harassed and bullied about quote unquote begging and the false accusation of scamming. If I say I need help with the hotel room and I'm in a hotel, how is that a scam? I'm homeless and struggling to survive, and the same people who falsely accusing me of all these things, those are the same wicked, evil, satanic perps that are harassing, the bullying, and abusing me unprovoked and incessantly, and they're desperate to ruin and destroy me. Just like with this current TikTok, they're bullying me so bad in hopes that I would shut down the TikTok or get rid of the TikTok so that I couldn't get help. Only one person on TikTok helped me so far financially, but I have a couple little people for emotional support too. But so with that so so I mean, I was getting financial after they workplace mobbed me off the job December 14th. The school semester was almost over, and it was almost the Christmas holidays, and everything was just unbearable and frustrating, and I didn't want to have outbursts and lash out or have meltdowns. So I was cornered and felt like I had no choice but to quit. And everybody defending and agreeing with the gang stalkers. I have blatant proof and evidence that John Mayo is an abusive, narcissistic gang stalker. Plus, I think he's associated with witchcraft as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a damn druggie. The man he looked dead, and had dry lips, like dry, ashy, dead looking lips. Excuse me. And I saw some weird stuff, and he was perping me and trying to make me more scared. That's the perp that what driving around with strange headlights in the Ford Escape. Excuse me. And then he got Miss Brenda, the elderly lady, to turn into a perp. And so the online perps tried to falsely accuse me of elderly abuse, because she kept on invading my space. And I just, try to tell her not to get so close to me. So me telling you not to get close to me because I have OCD and everything, how's that elderly abuse? The online perps, they're looking and hunting for something to falsely accuse me of. But they're hypocrites because they can bully and abuse me all day. Y'all abusing a disabled homeless person. And then they want to demand that I respect authority and demand that I respect the police while they bully and taunt and harass and bully me and abuse me. Bully, harass, and make death threats at me. So, from December 14th, 2021, all the way until like May 6, 2022. That Friday, May 6th, I went by Trisha and that situation happened. But before then, it was a struggle, but I was getting help just about every week for that $365 to stay in that motel. There were times where I was nearly almost on the streets. And so then Trisha was a plant sent to ruin me. I was off the streets for a good 7 or 8 months. But after I exposed the truth about her perping and gang stalking me and everything, she smear campaigned me and got a whole bunch and used witchcraft to get a whole bunch of subscribers and everybody on her team and even persuade targeted individuals against me. She had her own cult following against me. And so after her trying to set me up and people were warning me and I was having nightmares, like why would a holy saved Christian be doing stuff like having books promoting witchcraft at her house, books and movies and stuff, and she burns black incense. And that's the only color. She would burn black incense in her house. I was having nightmares about rape and death up in that house. Her car is red. She lied on me. She was supposed to have been pregnant and threatened to. I need to go find them. But I had the screenshots of her threatening to abort the baby, and I tried to talk her out of it. And I figured that was strange. You're supposed to be Christian. So she told me over the phone that I'm such a pure soul. Now all of a sudden, I'm a demon after I expose her. She caught smear campaigning me as the perp and the demon. She burned another guy. Another TI that he was a guy, he was homeless too. So, but he obviously believed her lies because he didn't even want to connect with me and talk to me. But he was willing to talk to other people. but he ignored me and really didn't want to connect or talk to me that much about his experience. About we could have banded together and connected and exposed her for what what she did, and that way I could have had, if I was a victim of what she did, and then he was a victim, we both could have well, we both experienced it. So I can't say he was a witness because he experienced it and I experienced it, but we were both victims. And then she switched it and played, and like they all do, they reverse and turn everything on me. And so Trisha is Haitian, and come to New Orleans for witchcraft reasons. She was living in freaking Boston, Massachusetts. Why didn't she stay there? I mean, so nobody wants to give me an answer. Burning black incense, that's got to be witchcraft. And then she was throwing up devil horns and 666 and sending me messages with 666 emojis. And she was planning to sacrifice me and trying to plan a whole damn setup, and the setup didn't work. Lisa Ruby, a few years ago, what Trisha did to me was kind of like reminiscent of Lisa Ruby luring me to Greenville, South Carolina, and setting me up, and nearly succeeded at setting me up for destruction. And Lisa Ruby left me homeless on the streets for 9 days. Before then, the most I ever been homeless on the streets was probably overnight or for a couple of nights. But Lisa Ruby had me homeless on the streets for 9 days in an unfamiliar area, an unfamiliar city and state. But Trisha, smear campaign and joined the bandwagon. Well, my twin sister and her cult, they joined Trisha and they connected together to bully and gang up on me. Trisha pretended to be too good to be true, and pretending like she believed me, and like pretending like she believed me talking about my targeting. And she pretended to play everything too good to be true. But I kept on sensing that something wasn't right, and she wanted to rush everything. And she was eager and excited, and to the point it was just weird. But she reversed it on me and lied and said everything she did to me, she reversed and lied and said I did to her. And so I'm not allowed to have a voice or speak out on my own channel. Trisha made me back homeless again. I guess I was supposed to have been dead. But she made me back homeless again. And then I've been struggling back with homelessness ever since. But I've been technically homeless for staying in motels and was getting help. And so, she was a fake TI. She is a fake TI perp. And every time I expose the truth about her, she pretends to play victim and play innocent. And as I said, I'm not allowed a voice on my own platform, my own channel. I'm not allowed a voice about her or anybody else that I speaking the truth about. So, she was very eager, and I don't know. It's like she tried to live vicariously through me and try to control me, and try to fix. I mean, it was made me feel very uncomfortable. And by the third day, I was trying to pack up and trying to be like, oh hell no, I'm getting the hell out of here. So ever since May 6th, I've been struggling back on the streets again, which gave plenty of time for me to deal with being wrongfully banned from more places and to be harassed and stalked. The whole time that I was off the streets, I wasn't even going, I wasn't even going to Cactus Cantina or any of those downtown restaurants. Maybe a couple of times, a couple of them, I'm not going to say the names, but a couple of times I went to a couple of the downtown restaurants when I had to, say when my social security check came and I had to do business. But I would let my subscribers know that, well, hey, I don't need help this week because I got the social security check or something like that. Or if I say, well, I don't need help because I got my tax refund. But it's like you might as well say that the majority of my tax refund check went down the drain because of me being tricked into thinking that I would settle at Trisha's house and be relieved from my homeless situation. And everybody laughed in my face and said that they would rather believe her and say, sorry, but but Trisha's story sounds more truthful than yours. And then they laugh in my face. But she's using witchcraft and deception. And other people were warning me, saying that this don't look good, Candy. She about to sacrifice you. And I lost those very same people as so-called friends. I lost them, the same people warning me. I lost every single last one of them as a friend. And ended up totally isolated with nobody. And it took months for me to regain some of my stuff back that I lost at her house. That I had to leave behind. And also, she used her fake pregnancy as a way to, she probably secretly and quietly sacrificed that baby. But I wouldn't see now of her, walking. I didn't see her any videos of her with a big fat pregnant belly, and I don't see her with a baby. So she either lied about being pregnant, or she sacrificed that baby. It's like she was going to get her way, because she was eager for that $100,000 a year senior management position. And, was going to use me and trample over me to get it. So she would use projection. And by me using natural products that I've been using for over a decade, she would lie and say oh, well, Candy uses Dr. Bronner's soap. Oh, Candy just wants status. Or she wants to try to be up there with the rich people. No, you trying to get that status and up there with the rich people. Me calling myself trying to heal disease naturally and trying to live naturally. Now I can't really do that because of poverty and homelessness. But but for me to want to stay away from big pharma and try to live naturally, you call that wanting status? So even before I went down by Trisha, I got a Domino's job interview and they rejected me, you know. They didn't they didn't give me the job. And so I was busting my ass trying and trying for a job and got really almost nothing. And so that's how it is. They either won't hire you at all, or if they do hire you, it's a forced low income position. And then they set the stage for you to be workplace mob. And if I'm supposed to be too overqualified with my bachelor's degree, if I got to be considered overqualified and considered unemployable. So I've been struggling with homelessness ever since what Trisha did. And she's another fake Christian TI perp that laughs at people suffering. Like if somebody dies and get murdered, she'll laugh. That's funny to her. Pure evil. That's funny to her. And she'll say that you're getting karma that you deserve. And she's a bully. A bully. So yeah, I mean I don't even remember everything she did, but I do remember my first day meeting her in person. And some people would describe her to be a catfisher or a catfish. Because as I said, her natural appearance is nothing like in those videos, which is witchcraft. Because she fooled people into thinking she's attractive and pretty, but take off that fake hair and makeup and lipstick or whatever. She got black lips, her hair shorter than mine, and she ain't no better than me. And so I mean I'm just really you know it's less places I would have been banned from if it weren't for what she did. I mean, what I mean, if she sacrificed me in a way to that she made me back homeless again, so she couldn't totally wipe my life out, and she bragged about having somebody die, and she's always like my biological sister Ramona, always surrounded by death. People said a biological sister Ramona, like my biological cousin Blake, before Blake got shot and killed. The last time I saw Blake before he died, Blake was mourning me then. That the biological sister Ramona is a very evil witch. He even said the biological mom Frances did voodoo and practiced witchcraft. And people say the foster mom Adrian Felder practiced voodoo and do witchcraft. I am totally blind. Like well, that's good. They kept me in the dark because I don't know no damn rituals. But the biological mom, Frances, she would do stuff like when she get mad, when she was alive, she would pour bleach on the stairs, on the front porch. And they said that was a voodoo ritual. So I don't know much. I'm from New Orleans, but I lived on the West Bank. The foster mom kept us overly sheltered. So I don't know much of anything about, I don't know that much. I don't have that much knowledge about voodoo and witchcraft and all that. And I don't want to know. I try to keep my mind away from that. I don't even want to know any spells or rituals. So, they had this lady from the Caribbean islands, was a fake Christian perp and practiced witchcraft. Her name was Euroline Williams, and she was from the island called Dominica, not Dominican Republic, but a different Caribbean island called Dominica. And she put cursed items in my house, in my apartment, and made me lose my mind and go crazy. I didn't know about witchcraft at that time, or I wasn't awakened, because the fake IDMR cult that I grew up in, they try to make like as if witchcraft is not real or like witchcraft is non-existent. So, excuse me. So I mean, I don't even seek to learn how to cast spells on people or nothing. I just try to fight to survive and just live my life being targeted. And I'm telling myself I need to get closer to God now, because I'm sitting here, mentally fucked up in the head. What I saw last night, I could not sleep because of what I saw. That video about Jaguar Wright and the guy from that was his name Solar. That's part of the fake Carbon Nation Nature Boy cult. And I'm like, like what I saw was very disturbing. And I actually, can't even talk about it. But they said that Jaguar Wright had warned that people put witchcraft on her, and I think they had caused her an MK Ultra breakdown and drugged her up and put witchcraft on her, or they got her drunk or slipped something in her drink or something like that, And they had her, what people say, that she was possessed. And so, if she spoke the truth and been warning people, and then they set her up, that Solar guy, like a Jaguar is a targeted individual. They said that her husband, former military, and supposedly, I don't know what branch, but Gerald Johnson, former military, and I don't know what branch he was in. And they said that he was a PTSD war. He has PTSD and was a war veteran, and that he was suicidal and stuff like that. So they were saying that the husband, had been her handler. And then they said that this new Solar guy from the fake Carbon Nation cult, they said that he is her new handler and was a plant or a male honeypot, used witchcraft and voodoo or whatever, or juju or something, and manipulated her and set her up I mean, I just feel so bad. And so that bothered and disturbed me all night long last night. I even prayed about her. And she was throwing her dead son's cremated ashes on people, and she was rubbing the ashes on her face and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is not the normal Jaguar. That guy was sent to kill, steal, and destroy. And then that guy, Solar, the light skinned guy with the dreads, he was wearing a red shirt and a chain with the occult Egyptian eye of Horus, the Illuminati all seeing eye symbolism. I mean, that's just some, wow. They even had her doing the witchcraft and being possessed. And I'm like, no, this ain't you, Jaguar, right? So he was purping with the red and pretended to be. I mean, they said that she barely knew him, but she was already calling him her nephew. And she acted like she cared more about this new guy than her husband. And people were speculating that she was sleeping with the new guy, that Solar guy or whatever. But I don't know everything, but I'm just saying what certain things that I saw, online. But that's what got me thinking about fake friends, and whether online or in person, dealing with fake friends, people who don't have your best interests at heart. You really can't trust nobody. And the main people who tell you can't trust nobody, they'd be the first to betray you. So people say that somebody put witchcraft on Orlando Brown and made him have it out right before the Christmas holidays. And they both, Orlando Brown and Jaguar, right? They both were speaking the truth about the powerful people in the music industry and in Hollywood. And people were sent to destroy. Like Orlando having that blonde hair, MK Ultra switching and breakdown, gotta be reprogrammed. And Kanye West too. Kanye West didn't tell the whole truth. He said his mother was sacrificed, but he didn't say he did it. But he did it. He bragged about back in years ago. He bragged about selling his soul to the devil, and that it came with a few toys and a Happy Meal. And people been calling Kanye West crazy. The first time I saw him speak out was during Hurricane Katrina, and he said George Bush does not care about black people. And next thing you know, I mean, he was promoting Jesus walks and whatever so-called Christian rap. Then he went secular, and then he went totally demonic, and then fake Christian again, and then, I don't know. But there was a point in time, he calls himself Yeezy, which is blasphemous, trying to mix his own name and Jesus Christ. And a lot of these celebrities have themselves depicted as Jesus Christ dying on the cross. Even Tupac had a mixtape or something, or they had some kind of album, or was it Machiavelli? And they had depiction of Tupac on the cross like Jesus. And Kanye also, they had him depicted as Jesus Christ. And they had that rapper Young Jeezy. I don't feel comfortable calling him Young Jeezy. I mean, if that's subliminal for young new age fake Jesus Christ. But the real Jesus Christ was not a thug. So, you know, dang, the way they set Jaguar right up, and I mean, that's why J Demon Rotten shit attacked me and been bullying me ever since, because I said Jaguar was a targeted individual and suffering gang stalking. I don't know if she's being hit with weapons. I don't think she get V2K either. But Al B. Shore is a targeted individual. Michael Jackson was in Aaliyah, and Whitney Houston. They were freaking targeted individuals. Aaliyah was another one always under surveillance and being watched. And that's why I had this personal theory that if you break free from MK Ultra, you become a TI. If you like a Drapedomania, runaway slave. So, and then stuff start getting exposed like 20 years later and stuff. And people talk about whore Beyonce and Gay Z. Hell face, ugly, camel face, moose face, Gay Z. Giving everybody herpes. And they said whore Beyonce and her mom were deep into the hardcore voodoo and witchcraft. And especially spells and like heavy Illuminati. Illuminati whoring for Satan. So these celebrities, how do people worship? I mean, if we found out the truth about these celebrities, they wouldn't have any fans. I heard that. I thought they said that about Kim Kardashian, but they said that whore Beyonce uses rips out pages of a Bible and uses them for her menstrual. I can't say too much, but that's the doggone satanic rituals. They drink blood, eat piss and shit, do animals, and kill babies, and torture and kill babies. And wow, the moment I'm speaking the truth, they're hitting my heart with the directed energy weapons. I got tight pain on my heart. Well, on a little bit, yeah, right on my chest. As soon as I'm talking about this, so I'm disturbed because what happened with Jaguar Wright and what happened with Orlando Brown and what happened to Shanquella Robinson, we gotta watch our doggone backs. We do. And I see so many people who profess to be Christian, and they're promoting that Luciferian one-eye symbolism, or the 666, or devil horns, and y'all say y'all love the Lord, but then y'all telling me to repent for cussing y'all out after you provoke me. After you provoke me to anger and trigger my Tourette's. So, yeah, I mean, after what happened to me with losing fake friends and dealing with Trisha, and then hearing about the Shanquella thing, and then seeing Orlando Brown and Jaguar right now, dang, I'm sitting here thinking that could have been me. And I guess God must have been sparing me. And Perp's been trying to take me out. Um, I nearly lost my life a few times. Gang stalkers trying to deliberately run over me with their cars. And so, ah, so I've been vocal and outspoken about my own targeting. It's like before I found out I was targeted, people had been calling me crazy. As I said, ever since the situation with Lanika from the Masonic Smelly Crab family, and Lanika is another witch, satanic voodoo witch slut that's never to be trusted, never supposed to be trusted. I knew the bitch since I was 5 years old. Stanky motherfucker. The Masonic Smelly Crab family. But her own mom prostituted her, Cheryl. Her own mom prostituted and pimped her out to grown men at a underage, and then she turned into a witch whore. And I heard that whoredom and witchcraft a lot of the times go hand in hand. Same with some people say that homosexuality and witchcraft and Luciferianism all go hand in hand. Yeah, so I got put into this gang stalking program behind her because the foster mom, Adrian Felder, wanted to scapegoat me. Scapegoat and put the blame on me to protect the Kraft family. And the foster mom was, I think she was putting voodoo. I mean, as much as I didn't like the foster stepdad, her and the foster stepdad, they were both narcissistic abusers. I really think she put witchcraft on the foster dad Al too, and they had Al sacrificed. And these were the fucking people grew up with that want to take the brownie points for raising us. And so the foster mom was putting heavy witchcraft on the foster stepdad, John Terrell Thomas, who they call Mr. Terry. The foster dad was Alvia Felder, who they call Al. So the foster stepdad, I don't even like to call him Mr. Terry. I call him Blackie's wife, the crusty dog. So the foster stepdad, it seemed like the foster mom had him getting in car accidents almost every day, but then he would drive like a reckless fool anyway. But she had him slipping and falling in the hallway, slipping and falling down the stairs, getting into car accidents. And I'm like, damn. And it wasn't until after they split and separated that he finally joined the fake IDMR cult after he broke away from her. That's when he decided to join the cult after we turned 18. And I think that was strategic too, because he gave us hell. And then he waited till after me and my twin sister turned 18 to separate from the foster mom for good, and then go and then he joined the cult after he separated from her. But I guess she tried to beat him into submission. The foster dad Al was never with the bullshit, never with the fake IDMR cult. He never went to the class, I don't think. But the foster dad Al, when we were little, he used to take us to church. So I remember Al take us to church when we were little kids. How the hell we get with this fake Adimar cult trash or whatever? And Al and the foster mom, they used to argue, fuss, and fight all day from sun up to sundown unless they're going to work. Or when Al went to go hang out with friends, to get away from her. But the biological brother, Wyatt and Mark, and my twin sister, they know more secrets and know more about Al and the foster family and all them. It's like the certain things they were telling me, it like that plus my research led me on to draw conclusions that, hey, that was a satanic ritual blood sacrifice, that they were gonna sacrifice the foster dad Al. It was three of my biological family members' birthday, and Mark and Wyatt, they were close with Al. Relationship wise, they were like close with Al, and they used to work with him. And when they were little, they used to help Al with his furniture delivery business and stuff. So they used to work with Al. He used to pay him or whatever. And so the biological brother Mark and the biological aunt Yvonne and the biological grandma Ruby, who I don't remember meeting my grandma Ruby. They said she died when I was 5 or 6 years old in 1989. Ruby Harvey, my biological grandmother. And all their birthday is December 11th. So that night was when the incident happened when Al had a massive stroke. And then it was like the next morning, like after midnight. I mean, they said he started off having a seizure. And I don't know, I was 9 years old. And Al had a seizure. But before then, they were always arguing and fussing, and the foster mom used to wish death on him. And Wyatt used to be like, here go judgment day. And the foster mom used to wish death on him. So my twin sister was trying to say that Mickey, the foster mom's sister, Mickey, was the nurse that night. And that basically Mickey was used to help carry out the sacrifice. Now, Mickey was more evil than Anne, more evil and more abusive than Anne. And she was the youngest. But I don't know if Dana the other sister Dana's now deceased. Dana died in August 2017. So Dana, I don't know if Dana was involved in witchcraft, but she was mean as fuck also. And the brother JB, he was a military instructor in San Antonio, Texas. So Mickey could have killed me during my teenage years. And Mickey was so fucking evil. She was worse than Anne. Mickey was part of the fake Seventh-day Adventist cult. The fake foster mom, Anne, Adrian Felder, she was part of the fake IDMR cult. And then Dana was Catholic, which they said that's a cult too. A mega cult, a big fat cult. The Catholic Church, they say, is the whore of Babylon. The great whore is the church, Catholic Church. So they said the Catholic Church in New Orleans and Catholicism and paganism and voodoo, all like New Orleans Catholicism has got some voodoo mixed in it, So Yeah, man, it's really scary. So I'm sitting here, this doggone late, talking about some doggone witchcraft and voodoo that I don't know that much about. As I said, I don't know that much about. I just know it's evil, and I try to stay away from it. And so, yeah, I heard a few little things here and there, you know. So, some people say, oh, that's why when you eat food, you gotta pray over your food, because it's like more and more people are cool, calm, and collected and comfortable with just being evil now, and we gotta really be watchful, watch our backs. I mean, I almost went to jail trying to put all that furniture, that cursed furniture that Euroline gave me, out of my house. And Euroline was a narcissistic, control freak, fake friend trying to be a handler, and she was a perp too. I didn't let her get close to me. I figured that, oh, she's a religious stalker neighbor. That's what I used to call it. I used to call her a religious stalker neighbor, and I try to avoid her like the plague. I didn't know she was a perp trying to be my handler. All I know is she was weird. And she told me she was part of the fake Jehovah's Witness cult, but then she lied, switch it up and lie and say she was Christian. So, and she was narcissistic and self righteous about me cursing, like uttering profanity, while she practiced the doggone witchcraft. And she laughed. And when her friend drove off, she laughed about leaving all that furniture in my house, and I lost my mind and went crazy. I didn't realize she put a witchcraft spell on me and gave me cursed furniture, and I got it out of the house. And the other neighbors called the police on me. And I had neighbors in Denton, Texas that got hateful and cut off all contact with me without cause for no reason at all. And I didn't realize in Denton, Texas, they gave me a hard time because all those neighbors were fucking perps the whole time. That's why I went through hell. And they had the perp neighbor, Herman. I don't know his last name, but his name was Herman. And that fake bitch Herman, I think he was trying to sex traffic me too, and trying to be my handler, but it didn't work. So he would try to make sexual advances at me and try to offer me barbecue and try to love bomb me. I rejected his advances. And so then he would start bullying, harassing, and threatening me. And he would blast R. Kelly music super loud, despite all those allegations that were going on around 2007 and 2008. So, Euroline was an abusive, narcissistic, controlling perp that she would be self-righteous about. Like, they had this guy named Kevin that lived in an apartment complex in Denton, Texas. And Kevin, Euroline tried to forcefully order him to pour out his drink, his beer or whatever. And then he tried to make it like he would be obedient to her because he sexually wanted her, because she wasn't even pretty or attractive, but he sexually wanted her because she's from the Caribbean islands. But he happily obeyed her and poured out his beer or whatever liquor that he was drinking, all because he sexually wanted her. But she was self righteous about people drinking alcohol and cursing, but here she putting witchcraft on people. So abusive narcissistic perps, they love to act like they speaking against witchcraft, but they're the main ones practicing it and doing it. And it's like if they do witchcraft on you and a narcissistic abuser, a religious narc, they'll pretend to be self-righteous and holier than thou to cover up their dirty deeds that they're doing. And so they sit there and cover up their dirty deeds. And then they use projection and reverse it on you and lie and say that you're doing witchcraft on them. And before you know it, you wonder why everybody's treating you like shit because they smear campaign and slander you and lie to say you were doing witchcraft on them. That's like a narcissistic boyfriend cheating on you, but then reverse it on you and lie and say you cheated on him when you were faithful the whole time. But y'all say I'm sick. And the main people who put witchcraft on you are the main people who say you're sick, crazy, and need help. But they're the ones who's doing these rituals on you and causing you, quote unquote, bad luck. So, but anyway, enough on that. I'm spooking myself out. Um, but people say gang stalking is witchcraft and demonic, and that like that sex trafficking perp DJ. He called himself Voodoo Gods, and I think that he was trying to mind control and trying to put witchcraft on me. So I had to block him at every avenue. He delusionally believed he's my pimp. I blocked him. Like you're the one that's sick and crazy. I mean, I don't even know you, but you're a total stranger, and you act like you think you sexually own me. But then you're so overly critical and harsh enough with your words that you use words harsh enough to drive a person want to commit suicide. Now I had to protect my mental health and stay away from him. I'm glad he eventually left me alone. He even admitted that that it's his job to get TIs to flip and become perps. And he thought I was stupid. And he falsely accused me of wanting to be homeless when I rejected his advances. And he's like, "Don't you want a better life?" He was another sex trafficker trying to get me to become a prostitute and a perp and trying to get me to sell out. And he is another one who illegally got my phone number. And he would give such the worst, the most harsh psychological, mental, emotional, and verbal and spiritual abuse. Very controlling. And I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? And now we got this fake retarded Darnell Williams motherfucker. So guess what? I actually got more than 4,000 videos, but I can't publicize all of them. I'm talking about YouTube. So I'm thankful and glad to have 3 more nights in a hotel and off the streets, because that's also giving me time to cool down away from that bus driver that made me really mad. Um, I just needed a break and cool away from her because she really made me mad, you know. And I was listening to my favorite Christian songs for the first time this year, today. And that bus driver and Trisha and a few of my other perp enemies were heavily, violently, forcefully unwanted and intrusive in my mind with the OCD unwanted thoughts. Like, it's weird that me listening to my favorite songs and then dealing with the OCD and the daydreaming and all, you know, from trauma. That that instead of me being happy and feeling better and more calm and more relaxed, I end up getting heightened anxiety when listening to my favorite songs and then dealing with unwanted intrusive thoughts and everybody I'm angry with or don't like, that their face and name is violently, forcefully unwanted and intrusive in my mind with the unwanted intrusive thoughts. You know, so yeah, I mean that lady tried to make it like as if she was understanding about me talking about my gang stalking, and then she later on showed her true colors as a perp, manipulated me to trusting her to tell her my personal life and my secrets, not secrets, but my personal life and stuff, and so she also tried to falsely make it like as if I was a fraud or scamming or cheating Social Security and that I'm not really not disabled and stuff. Well, how you gonna say that and then immediately the next moment you say I'm crazy and need a social worker? And I said, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. And she said, yeah, you do. Like she tried to overtalk me, like she thinks she got high authority. And then people were saying that the psychiatric medications and pharmaceuticals, period, is witchcraft that Christians are not supposed to mess with. That we have to, and people even say junk food, the chemicals in the junk food and fast food and all that is witchcraft, and that's how we get hooked and addicted. That's basically a spell. Like if y'all look up pharmakia and witchcraft and big pharma, you know, so it's hard to stay away from bad food because of my predicament, but I be trying to stay away from medication. So if people want to try to say, did you go get your prescriptions filled like you were supposed to? God didn't say I'm supposed to get prescriptions filled. Who are you? So, um, and that bus driver, as I said, she tried to talk to me very elementary, but then she played off like she's slow and stupid and retarded. So I didn't work on any writings today. Well, now it's a new day. It's now 12:05 a.m. in the morning on Monday, January 16th, 2023. At 12:05 a.m. So yeah, yesterday the 15th, I didn't really work on any writings, but I accomplished that. I listened to the Bible, prayed, and listened to my favorite Christian songs. And some of them I listened to some songs twice. But the reason why I had to listen to it the second time, because the unwanted thoughts bothered me and overpowered my mind, and I got frustrated and listened to it again. And people say that this my mind being fucked up, messed up, is because of complex PTSD and narcissistic abuse and dealing with the cult that I grew up in, and also trauma and stuff, and now dealing with gang stalking and being targeted. So I like when I used to try to fight and rebel against the cult, even some off and on during my teenage years. And the fake social worker used to tell me I have to follow the foster mom's rules. And so the foster mom took advantage of making it a rule for us to be forced to go to the cult meetings. Like if y'all want to call me demonic, which I'm not, I had to fight to deprogram myself from the cult and and undo the foster mom's brainwashing and programming on my own through Bible reading and prayer and researching the truth. Is how I was able to. I don't think I'm 100% totally deprogrammed, but I'm majority, deprogrammed from the brainwashing and the mind control and the foster mom forcing us to be this way and think this way, say things this way, and do this that way and stuff. So I feel like I don't have to be like her. I mean, I spent time in Denton, Texas to try to undo the programming before I even realized I was programmed. I told myself, I don't have to buy margarine no more. I'm going to buy butter from now on. Everything doesn't have to be the cheapest and on sale. I'm just going to buy what I like if I can afford it. But see, she was preconditioning me to accept my entire adulthood of poverty. And like she used to drill it into my head that she think I'm going to grow up to be crazy and schizophrenic and on drugs. Now I'm going to grow up to be crazy and schizophrenic and on drugs and a prostitute. And that I'm going to wind up in jail or dead and deserve it. All that bullying and sadistic abuse. And then she called me crazy, especially being vocal and outspoken on how she was treating me. She turned everybody against me and made everybody hate me. The school counselors used to be supportive, and then we used to be afraid to report the foster mom for abuse and scared to get her in trouble with CPS. And like when I was in 7th grade, the teacher, Miss Verga, she actually called CPS on the foster mom for abusing me. And then the foster mom got really mad. I think that was when the foster brother Joe beat me up. So, like, the psychiatrist had me diagnosed with OCD. Like, Dr. Chakraborty had me diagnosed with OCD, depression, and generalized anxiety disorder and Tourette's. No, I'm sorry. That was that pizza face Dr. Wilson that had me diagnosed with major depressive disorder. But yeah, well, Dr. Chakraborty, we used to talk about my depression, but she had me diagnosed with OCD, anxiety, and Tourette's. But then when I turned 18, that other doctor had me added a diagnosis, major depressive disorder. But the foster mom used to smear campaign me to the psychologist, and when we would get psychiatric evaluation, she would smear campaign and lie and make me look out to be as crazy as possible on purpose so she can get more money. Very fucking evil. And she would try to prevent me from working so she can, make more money off of me. After I turned 18, she didn't want me to work. even though I'm disabled and hypersensitive. But I think they did all this on purpose. And what if my hypersensitive ear condition might be from their whatever witchcraft and medical experimentation and stuff that they did on me? So if I was just diagnosed with anxiety and then the foster mom was smear campaigning me as schizophrenic, thinking that she can try to keep me quiet about the abuse. So my twin sister even had knowledge on how crooked the foster mom and social worker, that they were teaming up together doing crooked stuff. But my twin sister decided to join them and join evil. And rather than, we could have been fighting this together. And I think that she's doing all that, whatever, witchcraft and the occult and stuff like that too. Because my twin sister, in her YouTube videos, deceiving and lying to y'all, she's throwing up them satanic hand signs. And that's how they persuade people, you know. So my the former foster mom teamed up with the social worker to lie. Like Social Security, when I was still in foster care, Social Security kept on rejecting my application. I mean, rejecting them applying behind my back. They said the Social Security kept on rejecting the application for me to get Social Security. I overheard them talks about it, and I heard something about that that the foster mom was supposedly getting Social Security money from me when I was a little kid, and I knew nothing about it, and I never saw that money. Foster mom took it all for herself. And then they stopped the benefits for whatever reason. And then they reapplied. And I heard that the foster mom and the social worker kept getting frustrated because the application kept getting rejected. So I guess they created a lie and said I'm schizophrenic to finally get me to start getting the checks for the foster mom's benefit. The foster mom was taking my money, taking my checks, exploiting me. And so I never wanted social, even though I am disabled, but I always wanted to be independent, and I never wanted Social Security in the first place. I wanted to be that OBGYN in the first place. Or then I wanted to be a Spanish translator. That didn't work out. I didn't understand what was going on, you know? So so the foster mom got me Social Security for her benefit, and she thought that she was going to be in control over me for the rest of my life. And my twin sister was hinting to me or telling me about how the foster family members had life insurance policies taken out on us. So so now you know, it's hard for me to even get off Social Security, and I can't even get a job because of being blacklisted or being considered unemployable and overqualified. It's just a big mess, and I'm blacklisted, being targeted. And perps won't allow me to make a living from writing. People won't allow me to be an entrepreneur and run my own business. They won't let me do nothing. They want me a total slave, totally controlled. And after I turned 18 or 19 years old, I went to the OCS in New Orleans. It was called New Orleans CPS office, or it was called OCS, Office of Community Service. That's their CPS and DFCS, or in Atlanta they call it DFACS. So their CPS, DFCS, crooked child trafficking, and foster mom used to use us as cleanup slaves, and the allowance was only $20 a month. And then I was 18 years old and getting an allowance of $114 a month through this fake YAP program. I mean, imagine I was over 18 and the foster mom will sabotage every job I try to work. Also, she can be greedy for my social security check. And I had to find out I was my own payee, and she was taking my checks, and she lied to me and said she was my payee, and or had everybody believing that, and had me believing that she was my payee. I had to find out that the Social Security office said that I'm my own payee. Once I found that out, I took my power back and took matters into my own hands. The foster mom was trying to not let me get a job. She acted like she was disgusted and sick of me and wanted to get rid of me, but then she wouldn't let me get a job, and she would not let me be independent and get my own apartment. When I got my own disabled apartment, she didn't want to come visit me, but she was visiting my twin sister almost every day. But my twin sister was compliant with the cult too, the fake IDMR cult. But the foster mom ran her own house like a cult, you know. So wow, I talked so deep at this time, you know. It's 12:18 a.m. in the morning. I'm scared, you know. I mean, 2023, everybody's saying that the year 2023 is not a good start for anybody at all. It started a bad year. So, and I know the gang stalking, they say the gang stalking is witchcraft. So, and it's a distraction from your focus on God, but at the same time, they really are out here trying to kill us, trying to set us up, trying to destroy us, trying to set us up to go to hell if we are considered any chosen ones, trying to set us up to go to hell if we are considered any chosen. So they're trying to manipulate us to lose our spot in heaven and set us up to go to hell. So on the streets especially, I can never get quiet time with God and pray and read the Bible and all. You know, I'm not saying I never could, but it's hard, very hard, you know, to try to get some quiet time. Because I always got to deal with the noise campaigns, noise harassment. You don't get no peace or quiet or privacy when being homeless on the streets. And people say the streets is no place for a woman. You know, the streets is no place for a woman. And there they got me forced on the streets, vulnerable, disabled, single female, all by herself, and isolated with no support, um, and society does not give a damn. And if there's any fake concern, it's narcissistic control. I don't need to be in a group home. I'm too high functioning for a group home. I'm independent. I can be independent. I just lack finances right now. I just lack the proper finances. And if I would have came here to Pensacola and got my own place, I would have never set foot probably in places like a lot of these restaurants, like Cactus Cantina, Shrimp Basket, um, this restaurant, that restaurant, Denny's, IHOP, whatever. I'd be mainly cooking at home unless I had a job. But I'm disappointed because me coming here to Pensacola is not what I expected or intended. But I've been here for nearly 4 years struggling with homelessness after I felt kicked out of my own hometown with nowhere to go. After they gang stalked me out of my Section 8 home everywhere I went. And so now, I thought I was going to get a job and stabilized housing. And it's disappointing for me to be homeless for this long. And it's hard to get help. It's very few people who care. But it's easy to get them manipulated to turn against me and betray me and no longer care anymore. You know. So I'm thankful and glad, to have help for, I guess, almost a week because, but as I said, before the situation with Trisha, I was off the streets consistently, even though there were some Fridays or some weeks where I felt like borderline rocky and it was borderline rocky and iffy and risky that I was at risk for being on the streets almost every Friday. And then somebody would come and swoop in at the last minute and help me out and keep me afloat and keep me off the streets. But ever since that incident with Trisha happened, she turned away manipulated all my support and had everybody betray me through her witchcraft. And it's been a struggle ever since. And I was supposed to have been dead, gone. She was supposed to have sacrificed me on May 18th, 2022. And so I'm disappointed that this winter is colder than last winter. And yet this winter is colder than last winter. And last winter, I was protected off the streets. They had many warm days, hardly any cold. It felt weird to be winter and not cold, even though I hate cold, but it just felt weird. But this winter, we got some cold days, like this past weekend, cold, 30s. And so it's a struggle to get off the streets. I've had to sleep a couple of months ago, had to sleep out in 35-degree weather because of being wrongfully banned from the cold weather shelters due to the gang stalking or not enough room. Or being, wrongfully banned. And then, or they'll say, oh, it's not enough room. Shelters are full. And there's really nothing much out here for single women. So I have one last battery for my MP3 player. And I'm going to say today, since it's Monday, it's MLK holiday. I don't think the buses are running. And a lot of businesses will be closed. So I need to find a way to buy me some more AAA batteries for my MP3 player. If the buses aren't running, I can't get to my storage unit. I'm not going to take an Uber over there. So if I have to walk a long walk to another store to try to find me some AAA batteries for my MP3 player so that I can continue to block out loud noise with the white noise, because my phone, whenever I try to play the thing on my phone, when I play that track the waterfalls on my phone, it'll play for the it will play for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, like 10 seconds, and then start acting weird. Unless if I can, I don't know if it's possible for me to use another media player. If I can use another media player and probably use that temporarily, but then I have to hold my phone near me. You know, um, that might be what I have to do until I can get access to some more batteries. I desperately need more batteries. So I am still feeling heavy, emotional, like anxiety and depression and constant fear due to the targeting and the threats, the harassment, the abuse. And the perps want to see me die. And they want me to die as soon as possible. And you know, it's scary and lonely out here. So thanks for listening to my crazy ass telling y'all the truth. Because that's what they say, that it's quote unquote crazy people tell the truth, and that the truth tellers and the quote unquote crazy people are a liability to the so called narcissistic, fake, mentally normal, you know. So thanks for listening to me. And, now I have no food in here. The food is eaten, so I gotta figure out how to eat for the next 3 days. Cause they have a restaurant next door. I'm not gonna say the name because of the online perps. So, um, it's a restaurant next door to here that's connected with one of the downtown. It's like a sister company of one, or under the same umbrella or under the same management of one of the downtown restaurants that I'm wrongfully banned from. So it's right next door, and I can't even go. So I have to go. They have, other than that, there's a couple of more restaurants, not that many. And then there's another restaurant that's a whole mile away that I have to walk a whole mile to go there and eat. And it's like burgers and fried chicken strips and stuff, and chicken wings and stuff, and and French fries, and um Philly cheesesteak or whatever. It's not really the healthy stuff. Like, well, I'm gonna say a few hours ago, I had leftover. It was shrimp and rice from a Asian restaurant. It was shrimp and rice and a little bit of cucumber, and I'm surprised that I was able to get satiated. So now I don't know what I'm gonna eat for breakfast tomorrow. Well, I mean later today, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know what to eat, and ain't no grocery stores around here. I think the closest grocery store is like 2 miles. I think I could be wrong, but I think the closest grocery store is like 2 miles, and then so much perp activity to happen within two to 4 miles. So let me go, and thanks, new supporters, and thanks for the help. I love y'all, and I gotta go to bed. And I'm thankful and glad for a bed to sleep in tonight, rather than the concrete and being tortured or harassed and ganged up on.